Hello and welcome to Bonito Design's Discover session. Today we are in conversation with the Vastu expert Neha Bajorria. To start with, we were having this conversation earlier that you have a very fascinating story. You've worked with Tata, you've spent about 7 years with India Bulls. Tell the audience here, as well as the audience online, about your story and what drove you into Vastu.
I have worked as a vice president for 7 years with India Bulls and Tata Housing. They say that you go through a problem and at the end of the day you search the solution for those problems. When I was going through a challenge in my life, especially my family, I tried going to astrologer, numerologist, vastu consultant. But coincidentally, what happened was my mom, my cousin sister, came to my house saying that why don't you consult a good vastu expert? I was like, okay, why don't you give it a try? She implemented few things without any demolition, and things work wonder. The problem resolved within 6 to 7 months period. So that was a turning point, and then I thought that why don't I take a try? Why don't I learn Vastu? It is, it's a science at the end of the day. And I started experimenting on my family and friends. तब बोलते थे वास्तु तो people used to laugh on me. But then eventually, when I started giving results, and then I thought, now let's quit the job and get into this full time.
Okay. I really wanted to understand how Vastu affects our mental health, because that has been a cause of distress for the last 2 years. The pandemic, the lockdown, we've been away from our families. I mean, just give us some basic tips about how to kind of
Deal with depression. This is what
depression, anxiety,
Yeah.
which is
So what happens is nowadays people, we live in a building, we live in an apartment. So we cannot demolish anything in the apartment. And especially with the builders, they build a kitchen or a toilet in northeast direction. And that is a major cause of depression, because at the end of the day, northeast is a direction of mental peace. वहाँ पे मंदिर होना चाहिए, टेम्पल होना चाहिए, और वहाँ पे अगर हमने एक फायर क्रिएट कर दिया और एल्स वॉशरूम क्रिएट कर दिया तो डिप्रेशन का रीजन बन ही जाता है. एंड नॉट ओनली दैट, इफ यू इवन हैव अ टेम्पल इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट, बट इफ यू आर प्लेसिंग लॉट ऑफ रेड कलर इन नॉर्थ ईस्ट, जैसे हम मंदिर में लाल कलर, लाल कपड़ा सब लगा देते हैं, दैट इज अनदर रीजन टू गो इनटू अ मेंटल टर्बुलेंस. So I would always suggest clients not to have red color in your northeast, especially in your temple area. You can use yellow color or green or blue, anything else besides than red.
okay.
So I mean red including a pink. Pink is also a family of red.
Okay.
So avoid red. So there are a lot of sayings what Vishwakarma ji has said, but then it has been elaborated in his books. If you have gone through Vishwakarma Prakash book, there are 16 directions. Generally, when we talk about Vastu, a layman just knows 8 directions. That is north, south, east, west, northeast, southwest, southeast, and northwest. But in Vishwakarma Prakash, they have mentioned 16 directions. देवता का ही वास होता है. And as I said, depression, anxiety, why this word and terminology has used so much. पहले जब घर बनते थे तो people used to pay attention that there's no toilet or kitchen in northeast, but nowadays we have all those things, and that's why people are going through so many mental health issues. So this is the biggest mistake every layman does. What they do is they stand exactly at the entrance door, which is ENT, which is marked there, and then they will say that हमारा दरवाजा तो north south facing है, which is a prosperous entrance. But to break the myth here, that is not how we look at the entrance. We go and stand in the center of the apartment.
So you made a very good point about decluttering. How does Vastu and declutter a connection?
So what happens is if you're keeping something in your house in any of the direction, see of course ऐसी बहुत सी चीजें होती है जो हमको जरूरत पड़ती है, but we organize and keep it. But there are things which we don't require and still we keep it, and we just dump it and dump it. So once you start dumping things, even your brain starts getting dumb. You stop thinking productively. You will always think about past, or you won't talk productive in your life.
Yes, it's really very useful, and what we have never thought of the center point to be taken as the Vastu area, and really we got a very good feedbacks from Japan. So thanks a lot for Bonito, and thanks to the Neha also.